Average Dude has something to say about...
Everybody, welcome back. The problems seem to be, as far as the gender wars, seem to be really alive and well in Canada, especially the Toronto area, because the United States went through this not that just recently. There was that horrible situation in Steubenville, Ohio, that rape case where that poor girl went through all of that, and then Adria Richards threw her little tantrum and became an abusive bully herself, and that got all the press. Donglegate upstaged a rape situation, which is horrendous. And ladies, when it comes to the radical feminists, please do not forget the female rights to be free from harm that you are supposedly representing. The University of Toronto, Rehtaeh Parsons, this girl from Nova Scotia, she was raped and went through all this. Her family moved. They had to sell home or rent or elsewhere. They had new jobs. They had to they cared for her. They tried so hard, but she was just harassed so much, and she took her own life. And this stupid situation with the University of Toronto upstaged that, which disgusts me. And especially so with the University of Toronto situation that just happened not that long ago, because first of all, it's not the first time that it's happened, and secondly, it's not about gender. Okay, what you have going on is that you have a group, at the university that has already existed, and you have a new group that's trying to form, trying to exist, trying to have a presence and be able to meet and do things, and the first group doesn't like that. This is not about gender. Gender is a scapegoat when it comes to the University of Toronto. It's about not wanting competition. Humans do not like competition. If there's one thing that humans don't like, it's competition. Hey, we have things going well for... Wait a minute, there's a new group, can't have that. Stomp, stomp, stomp. But unfortunately, basically you had a feminist group that did not like the fact that there's a men's rights activist group that's trying to have discussions. I'll leave the links down below, because usually when I come into situations like this, I want to take a look and see what's going on both sides. It's actually possible with this one. There's video of what the feminists are doing and the other groups on their side, acting like complete and total lunatics, and then you actually have video footage of the meeting itself that the men's rights activist group was having, and they're not talking about anything out of the ordinary. It's ridiculous. You will see that the feminist group and the others that joined in on the action were outside ranting and raving, screaming at the top of their lungs, and when that didn't stop the meeting, they pulled the fire alarm, and then when the people tried to leave the building, they blocked the exits. Okay, in America, during the early days of feminism, men who were used to power, not all men, but many of them, liked the power that they had, didn't want to share that, didn't want the competition, didn't want women to have any kind of... They loved that control. So women had to really walk on eggshells in the early days. They had to have secret meetings and stuff, but then these control freak men would stalk and then find where they're having the meetings, and they would resort to these same bully tactics. This whole pulling the fire alarm and bullying, it happened before, but now it's in reverse. Hey, you've got to be kidding me, feminists. What in heaven's name are you thinking? You have become the radical feminists. Not all feminists. The radical ones have become exactly what feminists hated back in the day. And I've said this before about people who have been abused. Sometimes they become exactly what was done to them in reverse. And this is where I am going to talk about that red hair, this lady with a red dye job with glasses. She's infamous on the internet now. Her name is Chanty Binx. So that's not her real name. I know her real name. I'm not going to say it. That is her online presence. I'm going to honor that. But boy, I'm going to talk about this lady. Females. Obviously, the world is not perfect, and there are so many situations where females need to have more. They need to have equality because they're just being stomped in the Middle East. Other parts of the world are just that they're mistreated like horror. But you've got to be kidding me. Countries like Canada, obviously, the women have a lot more rights than the men. The men can't even have a meeting. This lady, Chanty Binx, yeah, let me talk about this. She's a piece of work. 11 minutes into her infamous video, quote, "I'm tired of being the nice girl." I don't believe that she has ever been the nice girl, okay? I've said this in several videos now. I was one of those guys. As a boy child, as a toddler, I got beat by my mother on a regular basis, physically beaten, yelled and screamed at, cussed at, and my grandma too. I mean, the women in the family just ruled everything, and they controlled the men, even my dad, through fear. He did nothing to help me, and then it ended up being on me. And my sister didn't get that treatment, and my cousins were all females. So I have a lot to say when it comes to situations like this. When we whine and cry about being abused and victims, trust me, I get that all too well. I understand fear, terror, knowing what's going to happen, and it's going to happen over and over and over again. And hopelessness, when you ask for help from your dad and get nothing, and your situation gets worse, when you ask for help from family and other adults, nothing happens. They defend the mother beating the crap out. You feel so hopeless. So when I hear a woman like Chanty Binx and see her, she is a carbon copy of what my mom was back then. She's horrible. She's verbally abusive, emotionally abusive, and I guarantee you, I have a very strong feeling, I'm sure, she has physically struck males before. When you watch the videos, she's obviously not afraid. She is the exact opposite. She is used to intimidating men. She gets right up in the face, literally inches within the face of men that she has never met before, yelling and screaming at. That is, okay, imagine her being a man and tell me that that is not an abusive person with an abusive history. She is. You've got to be kidding me. I mean, wow. Those of us that have been on the receiving end of abuse and decided not to become the same thing that happened to us in reverse, gender doesn't matter, neither does the skin color or anything like that. We're used to spotting the behavior for what it is, and I am spotting it with her. Yeah, Chanty, I am calling you out, honey. Oh, wow. 2 minutes into these are things that we are agreeing on. Right after she tells the man to shut the F up, this entire interview that she's giving, F this, F that, F off, F face, she's horrendous. And you can't give, she's reading off something, a message that was written by somebody else. It's all over the internet. Feminists websites have this statement all over that she's reading from. She didn't write it, obviously. She should not be the one. It's actually a decent message. And what a shame that she's the one trying to give it. She should not be the one. What a horrible poster child for it. We actually want to be allied with you if you would just shut the F up. 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm reading, F-face. 4 minutes, 23 seconds. Quote, "They are too busy whining and crying of being an effing victim of the so-called oppression." Right after that, we should be your biggest effing allies. I don't think so, Chanty. Those of us who have been abused, we tend to shy away from people like you.